Have you ever lost something and spent hours looking for it to no avail? And the second you decide to let it go and move on, it seemingly shows up right in front of you like magic? This video is for those of you who feel stuck, feel like you've just been jumping from place to place, thing to thing, going nowhere fast. First of all, I want to start out with acknowledging those thoughts. You can get tough as the road goes on when you look back and you think you haven't gone very far, or you're not where you want to be. I've been there, and sometimes I have to pull myself back up. Here's a list of things that help me ground and keep moving forward. 1. Failure is the next level. Have you ever wondered why you see failure as such a negative thing? Since we were children, we were taught to fear failure, instead of learning through playful trial and error as kids naturally do. The way we learned was instead through fearful perfectionist standards. In turn, we learned to focus on the outcomes we didn't want rather than the outcomes we did want. In this paradigm, we learned that failure meant the risk of being disowned by our parents, our teachers, and our peers. Our psychology is hardwired to favor thoughts like this that keep us safe. As children, this is a valid survival strategy, but as adults who can care for ourselves, it is our duty to break this paradigm down and step into a more empowering one. This is where logic and practice must step in. Odds are, if you fail, you're not going to drop dead right this moment. We have to recognize this fear and act anyway, especially if there's a layer of wonder or excitement coupled with that fear. I've found that to mean that there's something there for you. Even if you fail, you would have learned something. In this way, failure reveals the next step. Fail until you succeed. Sometimes it's okay to quit. Some people will hear this and wholeheartedly disagree. For many, quitting brings on a feeling of shame, some of which tied to those same feelings of failure. But what I mean by this is that sometimes you're going to embark on a new journey. You're going to try really hard to make it work, but along the way, you realize you're on the wrong boat, headed in the wrong direction. Some will tell you, keep going, you've made it this far. Why would you turn back now? I personally encountered this when I was dropping out of college. I knew if I stayed, it would only get harder and harder to pivot. This will be disguised as care with your best interests in mind, but in reality, it's in their best interest. Don't fall for the trap that is a sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is a miscalculation in reasoning that keeps people in bad jobs, terrible relationships, and unfavorable situations, all because they've already put so much time, effort, money, and resources in. It's like putting more money into a bad bet just because you already spent half your life savings. But before you know it, you've gone all in, your dreams pass you by, and you die a life unfulfilled. This isn't the same as shiny object syndrome. That's a topic for another time. And it certainly doesn't excuse you from cultivating the self-discipline necessary to work on your goals. It simply means you must stay vigilant of what feels right for you and know when to walk away when something doesn't. In this quote, there are others who refuse to give up, thinking that this stubbornness is a virtue, but it too is a vice. That's Ryan Holiday, Discipline is Destiny. Find proof in your transferable skills. If you're anything like me, you likely found yourself going through phases, hyper-focusing on certain interests and all that sparked your curiosity. In my case, the past few years looked like this. I was a flow artist to a digital marketer, turned photographer to bartender, and now an online educator and content creator. This resulted in being someone who has specific knowledge of many subjects, but is a master of none. The outdated societal expectations that one must pick a niche and pick a lane and forever adhere to this imaginary confine created feelings of shame, inadequacy, and unworthiness. But did you know? The old saying actually goes like this: a jack of all trades, but a master of none is better than a master of one. Within every new skill, hobby, or interest lies certain principles and concepts that apply to all other things. It's at these intersections where innovation is born. For example, learning videography would entail understanding composition, lighting, storytelling, character design, color theory, depth, saturation, contrast, definition, and on and on and on and on. If you take a seemingly unrelated thing like dancing, you might find most, if not all of these things can be learned and expressed through it too. Can you think of anything else that might incorporate these in your own life? Everything is connected. It just takes a little imagination to see it. What I'm getting at here is that everything you've tried is not for nothing. Each one is a dot on the path to creating the bigger picture that is you. Look back and see just how those connections shaped who you are today. Stick to your vision, follow your curiosity, and watch as life takes shapes in ways beyond your imagination. Find community or create it. Sometimes we find ourselves in a place where we want to make a change, but our surroundings perpetuate our old habits and identities. I personally hate giving power to things outside of myself, but as the saying goes, as above, so below. As within, so without. Changes on the inside will reflect changes on the outside. But it can go the other way too. By changing your environment, who you hang around, what you listen to, what you watch, you can change your mindset and habits with less willpower and more ease. Perseverance, grit, and willpower are essential to success, but the way to improve these qualities is not by wishing you were a more disciplined person, but by creating a more disciplined environment. That's James Clear, Atomic Habits. Not to mention, there will come a point in your self-development journey where you feel lonely. I've been there. You're going to think no one understands you, and it's hard to relate to your peers. This is when it's most important to reach out and connect with like-minded individuals. If you find it difficult to find people in person, luckily the internet is filled with others just like you and me. Listen to the artists, the podcasts, the YouTubers, and creators who you see yourself in and are inspired by. If you haven't yet, now would be a great time to subscribe here to Activator Angel. You already know the vibes. Give yourself flowers. Not literally, but I think you might find that nice. All jokes aside, what I mean by this is be kind to yourself. There were so many times along this journey that I hadn't been very kind to myself. I would beat myself up if I went a day without having completed my to-do list. I would feel guilty for resting or enjoying a day with family and friends. It would only make me feel worse and even less motivated to work on my goals. Can you relate? Have high standards, yes, and have high compassion. If you fall off a habit or a routine, identify what you can tweak in your system to prevent it from happening again, and hop right back on. Be gentle, be kind, be a good friend to yourself. These next couple are going to go hand in hand. Technically all of these do, but these two especially. Focus on your intention. Intention is defined as what you want and why you want it. What your intention isn't, however, is how and when it comes to fruition. That latter part is not up to you. You see, even before you consciously decided to embark on this journey into the unknown, you had a teammate with you. That teammate is the universe, God, or if you believe in angels, spirit guides, or multiple deities, you have a team. If not them, you certainly have your higher self. Regardless of how you choose to define it, you're not alone. Lastly, let go. Relinquish your attachment to the outcome and focus solely on your intention. Again, that's what you want and why you want it. This allows you to release the blockage and opens your senses to the how or next step in which you can then act upon and assume your desired reality until it is revealed to you in divine timing in our physical reality. It's happened to me so many times that I've worried about an outcome, desperate for it, and finally decide to say, F it, I'm letting go. Did it arrive almost instantly after? Or here's another example. Have you ever lost something and spent hours looking for it to no avail? And the second you decide to let it go and move on, it seemingly shows up right in front of you like magic. Just like that, when you are trying too hard or are too attached to an outcome, you become blind to the answers and opportunities in plain sight. Trust the universe, detach from outcomes, and enjoy the process. If you want to learn more about the importance of trusting the universe as your teammate in a more fun perspective, watch this video here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace.